It is difficult to emphasize the influence that decision had on the situation. Additionally, we were a part of that as well. Due to the fact that Judge Torres determined that the SABC was incorrect, the matter has already been resolved. On the other hand, here's what's really cool. The ruling that Judge Torres made in the case between the SEC and Ripple was mentioned by a judge in a completely unrelated court matter that took place in a different district. The judge concluded that Judge Torres was correct and compelling at the time. Therefore, as holders of XRP, we have, at the very least, made it through this. I am aware that the situation with Ripple is not completely handled during the remedy phase nonetheless. We are ready to go, and these are bull markets, so I believe that we are going to have a wonderful time. Nevertheless, I would want to discuss this topic with you from a few other points of view. Several attorneys, such as Stuart Alderity, who serves as the Chief Legal Officer of Ripple, and John Detton, who is also an attorney, have provided their individual viewpoints. I can assure you that you are going to adore this one. William Morgan, an attorney, and James Murphy, also known as Metal Lawman on X, are present at this location. I felt compelled to let you know that this is a powerful response to all of the nonsense that the Securities and Exchange Commission has been spreading. For the purpose of determining whether or not an asset in and of itself constitutes a security, this judge is dismantling arguments that made no sense. This is the same line of reasoning that members of the community have been expressing for many years. Judge Torres is absolutely correct in every way. However, before we proceed, I would like to make it clear that I do not have any kind of experience in the financial sector. It is not my intention to provide financial guidance, and you should never buy or sell anything based on anything I say or believe, regardless of the circumstances. A simple enthusiast is all I am. Although I do it primarily as a pastime and for my own enjoyment, I really enjoy making movies on YouTube about topics that are related to cryptocurrency. In any case, here is the headline for the coins. Take a look at this. I will begin by providing you with some background information. After this quick introduction to the movie, the rest of it is all about what this implies for cryptocurrencies in general because of XRP and what happened at the SEC. This is the main focus of the film. The majority of SEC claims are permitted to move forward in the Binance lawsuit by the Telegraph Court. Therefore, at first glance, it does not appear to be very intriguing. In this case, Binance, which is owned by Ripple and operates as a cryptocurrency exchange, has been unsuccessful in convincing a court in the United States to dismiss the majority of the allegations that were filed against it by the securities regulator of the country. Specifically, the allegations revolve on the staking program that Binance offers, the selling of BNB after the initial coin offering, and violations of information technology fraud. According to the judge Amy Berman, the Securities and Exchange Commission did not emerge victorious in a straightforward manner. But in the end, Jackson made the decision to dismiss any claims that were associated with Binance new coin BNB, secondary market transactions, and any and all sales that were associated with Binance US stablecoin. The regulators have acknowledged that CZ, the previous CEO of Binance, functioned as a control person, and they will also proceed. In a court file that was submitted on June 28th, Jackson stated that here is the point at which things start to become exciting, which is what was intended to provide you with a lay of the land, to ensure that you have a complete understanding of the particulars of the case. Yet what transpired with two XRP holders in the action brought against Ripple by the SEC is the focus of the remaining portion of this event. Terry, a journalist for Fox Business, had shared this piece with friends. Furthermore, because I will be providing the opinions of a number of different attorneys, there will be some overlap. However, I will make an effort to keep it to a minimum. 80 years ago, when banks rather than markets were the primary source of financing for most enterprises, the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank were established. In today's globe, the financial world has been turned upside down. The capital markets are the most significant source of financing for the private sector. Moreover, in order to liberate that money, a different strategy is required than the model of the bank balance sheet that was used yesterday. Despite the fact that there is still a great deal of work to be done, the reforms that have been implemented over the course of the previous 8 months have resulted in billions of dollars of fresh cash for the infrastructure of the growing country. When the Investor Coalition was announced the previous week, you witnessed exactly what I just described. A total of $25 billion will be invested in Asia's growing economies by big corporations such as BlackRock, JIP, and KKR, amongst others. To some extent, it might be considered an Indo-Pacific counterpart to Italy's Mati plan, which is assisting in the expansion of African economies, which is an important development. It is necessary for every nation on the planet to have a growth strategy. Nevertheless, if I had the opportunity to impart one more significant message today, it would be that the nations that are in most need of growth at the present time are not only emerging economies. Several of the world's most powerful economies, including the G7, are on the list of countries that are expected to have significant growth in the years to come. Every one of us is being confronted with a growth conundrum. Regardless of whether or not we are able to find a solution to it, it represents a crucial economic crossroads for our nations. Now, the average debt to GDP ratio of the G7 countries is 129%, 129%, 129%. Regardless of how much we tax, how much we cut, or how much we lower that debt, no amount of money will be sufficient. We can only attain this future of growth by genuinely growing out of it, as this is the only way we can achieve it. On the other hand, growth is becoming increasingly crucial because we need to be concentrating on the state of our finances now. Additionally, it is becoming a great deal more challenging to do. By the year 25 years, the majority of the G7 countries will be seeing a decline in their population. The number of people of working age will decrease. In the future, the limit on growth will be lowered even further. In light of this, the construction of new infrastructure is of the utmost importance, particularly through public-private partnerships, to the countries that are high in debt and low in growth. When it comes to the structure of the video, there shouldn't be a lot of it since, well, sometimes you just hear the same people repeating themselves, but it's not in any case, but this is what Turret said recently. It is comparable to a significant victory for clarity in relation to the secondary market transactions of digital assets. District Judge Amy Berman Jackson has just dismissed the notion that secondary sales of Binance's BNB tokens satisfy the requirements for securities under the Howey test. The argument was presented by the Securities and Exchange Commission. In order to accomplish this, she referred to the decision made by Judge Annalisa Torres of Ripple, which stated that the economic reality of the token's transactions was very relevant when applying to Howey. If she is to be believed, this information comes directly from the judge in a different case. In addition to the defense that was presented at the hearing regarding the interconnectedness of the platform, the nature of technology, and the performance of each token, the assertion that cryptocurrency assets represent the investment contract is not a reliable source of information, not insufficient, has the sole intention of bringing secondary sales of BNB under the jurisdiction of investment contracts. At this point, let's take a moment to make it clear that we are discussing transactions that take place on exchanges where you have no idea who the hell you are buying from because everything is concealed. It was the embodiment idea that she particularly highlighted, which is something that I have been analyzing on this channel. Obviously, I am not the only one, but I have spent years doing nothing but tearing this blasted thing apart, and I have been examining even the end in terms of legal clarity for XRP. XRP, on the other hand, is everything that stands for the investment contracts. Therefore, the SAC, as I have stated on multiple occasions, is speaking out of both sides. When you question them, are you implying that XRP itself is a security with your statement? It is not a matter of security, they will reply. What exactly is going on in this situation? To put it another way, it is the epitome of all of that. You are completely losing your mind, the judge concluded. To add insult to injury, the agreement is not entirely consistent with the solitary explanation. From the time that this action was filed, the government has been making progress. It is not our intention to imply that the coins are not securities. The topic at hand is contracts pertaining to investments. After then, there was this little post that was made by Turret. Little creatures with wings that are spawned from creatures with wings. Are you implying that XRP would be considered a security in and of itself when you question them? Is it possible for me to respond? As far as I can tell, this is not a security-like, so what exactly is going on here? To put it another way, it is the epitome of all of that. After that, the judge continued, you freaking ASAP. In addition, the agreement is quite incongruous with the solitary premise that the administration has been promoting ever since this move was